Our legacy begins on the 18th of October 1934 on a farm known as Spratt's in the village of Ottershaw. A tiny cottage, Grandad next door. The Butler family had been rooted to this land a century or more before Brenda would arrive. During an intense period of struggle and strife between 2 world wars and towards the dark seasons of the year. It isn't any wonder her motto became, "No bloody fear."
Really yours, Vera Lynn. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know where.
So absurd and yet so...
Music while you work.
To begin,
Do you think you were a bit of a rebel?
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Brenda was a self-proclaimed rebel and a tomboy.
Yeah, I was a tomboy. I was never a dainty girl, never.
No.
Part of that, I suspect, was a ploy to show her parents she was worthy, even if she had not been born the boy she'd sensed they'd longed for.
How much older is Auntie Eileen?
7 years, I think. Oh, God.
Your dad sold things at Covent Garden.
Worked on the farm.
Right.
I used to drive the lorry up to London.
During the various seasons, different fruit and vegetables make their appearance in the market, which controls the entire distribution for London and the home counties. And much work has to be done in little time to ensure prompt deliveries. It is often said that these porters are famed for their flair for reciting strong language in a poetic stream. But more interesting is their ability to carry as many as 17 baskets on their heads.
Did you get on with him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Strict man.
Was
Very
he?
strict man.
So both your parents were quite strict?
No, my mum was a timid little thing. A
Was
proper
she?
little Welshman, my mum was. Yeah, my dad was. He told it like it was.
Yeah.
If he didn't like anything, he'd say, bugger off, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't mess about.
He was a straight talker.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, dear old dad.
yeah.
I remember one funny story, I shall always remember this. He had a motorbike and sidecar. And my mum was in the sidecar and I'm on the pillion. And this particular day, it was a bit chilly. My dad started the motor and he pulled away and I was still trying to pull my coat down and I had gone. When he got to the top, he realised I wasn't there. And I'm sitting in the pathway laughing my head off. And until he got to the top, where the hell is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Head
you've
of the
got
household.
hiding if you heard me swear.
Oh, did
You
you?
know.
Yeah.
I like all kids to do it, don't you?
Yeah.
Sitting in the middle of the thing with the motorbike going on. Oh, bugger this, Dad! You know.
Here, less than 30 miles from London, you're in the heart of rural England. Ottershaw is famous for its spired holly hedges, which have taken 40 years to grow to their present perfection. But they too are scheduled to be cut down, for Ottershaw is fighting for its life. Modern traffic demands great national highways, and one of the latest at present under construction is the Chertsey Arterial Road. Every day the new road creeps forward a few yards. It is like the menacing advance of some twisting, devouring serpent. Some of the trees are over 100 years old, and if the road is widened, most of them will have to be cut down. The green shadows will be replaced by the burning glare of sun on white concrete. Instead of the scent of the roses, it will be the smell of oil and petrol. If the Ottershaw Rural Preservation Society fails in its fight, it may never again be possible to take these pictures.
It was quite a small school.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah,
huge.
I mean, it's still there.
Is it?
Yeah,
What, the
flats
building?
now.
Oh.
And when I got too old for there, I had to go to Addlestone School.
And you go up.
Yeah, and you left school at 12. That was it. So
Yeah.
I went to St Paul's for 2 years.
Oh, you
Yeah.
went to St Paul's, yeah. Did you like school?
No.
No.
I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war.
Suddenly, no one really knows what to do. Or everyone does. Wardens run down the streets giving conflicting orders. Cars are stopped, people are hurried to shelters, gas rattles are sounded. For a few brief moments, confusion reigns. They are coming quicker even than anyone expected.
Is at war with Germany.
We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
History is being written. Chances of peace are slender indeed, and the hospitals are evacuated of their patients, young and old, who go to places of greater safety. How pathetic that these innocent human beings, in the midst of their suffering.
At 5 years old, a terrible war, which saw doodle bugs in Surrey's skies.
Because they go over Surrey
To London
for the bombing,
Right.
out to the sea and away. I thought it was great fun.
Warning. Did
to
you?
run out there and see these planes going over, and that the air raid would go, the sound, ooh, telling you the war. And I thought it was great fun, watching all these planes going over. And there's my dad saying, "Get that bloody kid in, get that bloody kid in." You know, but I didn't understand. Of course I didn't understand. We didn't have a shelter at home. We used to go up on the common in Ottershaw where the air raid shelters were. Well, you went down steps and you had a big room along like this, trestle seats, where you just sat and hoped that the bombs didn't come.
It was a false alarm. Officially, a Home Office misunderstanding.
But it's a British characteristic to laugh at trouble. Mr. and Mrs. Clements of Gillingham start married life with a good blowing up and go off to their honeymoon in a gas school omnibus.
Blitz and bombs and school friends gone in the blink of innocent eyes. No time for goodbyes. It's not really a surprise that what we now call PTSD was getting harder to disguise.
All I can remember is I got in a state, you know.
Not that she didn't try to follow her father's orders.
I was so frightened, I didn't know what to do, and I'd huddle in the corner.
Containing the tics and twitches of a nervous disorder, which eventually saw her and a million others.
That's why they took me down to Wales out of it all.
Crying babbies, wanting mothers, with gas masks and luggage labels on locomotives bound for faraway lands.
I can see that train now, full of all these evacuees going down to Wales to be out of the war.
Without her big sister Eileen to hold her hand.
Terrible time.
Little Brenda took this journey alone.
After the last war came depression, unemployment, empty wagons, and idle men. The docks of Cardiff are sending Welsh products overseas to all our armies and allies throughout the world. And in the factories, they're turning out uniforms and equipment for the armed forces. Dry batteries are needed for all kinds of emergency lighting. Here we see the Welsh people at their great festival of music and literature, the Eisteddfod. And here is Lloyd George, the greatest living Welshman, talking to his countrymen. These women of Wales are doing a man's job. With efficiency and skill, they are welding metal containers for the services in all parts of the world.
So I must have been about 8 when I went to Wales, and I came back when I was 12, something like that.
To an unknown home, with an Auntie Ginny, tall and grand, much like her ship-shaped house.
I was lucky because I had relatives.
In what was Tiger Bay, she would play with a little girl who grew up to be Shirley Bassey.
I didn't know it was her, of course.
No. It wasn't the Shirley Bassey we know, because she was still a little girl.
It was the Shirley Bassey that
became,
The minute you walk in the joint. Out of the South Wales poverty-stricken docklands of Cardiff's Tiger Bay rose a star with a voice like a force of nature, about to take the world by storm.
I was a terrible tomboy when I was in school. I loved playing football and climbing trees, and playing cricket, and that was just wild.
A girl from Tiger Bay.
as Tiger Bay was a more racially tolerant community. As a vibrant melting pot of all races and religions, it also had a lively nightlife of music and gambling in the pubs, clubs and shebeens.
Tiger Bay was the part of Cardiff to be avoided.
Singing in pubs and streets, skipping home in time for tea. So sociable was she also befriended little girls next door.
Marilyn Jealous Jenkins. Marilyn Jealous Jenkins.
Right.
Very Wesley they were.
Yeah, and they could play the piano.
That's right.
And I think you were climbing trees.
Interrupting their prim and proper music lessons by hollering over the garden wall. Her own voice lacking in the Welsh lilt of her mother's tongue. Another neighbour helped her with that one.
Brenda, good morning,
she would say, and from that day never strayed too far away from the Welsh side of her culture.
Do you feel a little bit Welsh?
Yeah.
At heart?
Yeah.
Well, and your mum, she had quite a strong
Mum
Welsh
was
accent.
Welsh,
Yeah.
Whose characters would stay in her heart forevermore.
Auntie Ginny, Auntie
Annie,
Auntie
Charlotte,
and Auntie Lydia?
That's right.
Auntie Lydia.
Four, yeah. That's
Right.
it. Auntie Ginny, Auntie Annie, Auntie Lydia, Uncle Nin. Well, I went to school then in Wales. I learnt to speak a little bit of Welsh, you know.
Okay, yeah.
All the kids were being evacuated out of London.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of kids, you know.
Yeah. What was it like?
Horrible.
Was it? All the kids
'Cause I
upset?
was quite a quiet little girl.
Right.
Not timid,
Yeah.
but quiet little girl. I sat and watched everybody, you know. And they're all speaking very Welsh, you know. Of course, when I came back from Wales, I had that accident that they had.
Yeah.
We went, didn't we? Didn't we go down and find my school?
Yeah, we
Alan's Bank
did.
School, yeah, we did.
What's it called?
Alan's Bank.
Alan's Bank School.
And Rose Park. I think we
Right.
went to the park.
Yeah, we did. And that
there was
had all
boats,
this
didn't
little...
we go on a boat.
Yeah, there were
Yeah.
boats. There was a little
On the
river
lake,
thing.
yeah.
I remember that. They had the toy boats. You know, the ones you can, like,
That's it.
miniature.
It was very cosmopolitan, but it was troublesome.
Tiger Bay wasn't like that. Okay, there was a gambling corner, and it was just great.
Making men of parties, hard at it. Sorting clothes and boots kindly given by people for the children whose parents can't afford them. And badly they were needed by some who had been brought from the slum districts of the towns. Now, in many places, helpers have taken over village halls where parents and children can have a cup of tea and be together. It's asking something to put two women in the same kitchen and expect harmony to come out of it. So helpers in some places organized washing days for mothers in communal centers. Toys, too, have been begged and borrowed from neighbors to help to keep the children entertained. In some places, evening dances and games are got up for the older children. Of course, the children love it. And it's a great help to the foster parents, especially in the smaller homes, to have them off their hands, even if it's only for one evening a week.
Shortly before the war ended, 3 years down the line, her parents, Bert and Hannah, decided it was time for Brenda's return, and home she came, back to Spratt's Lane. Though rationing and prisoners and fear would remain for quite some time beyond 1945, imprinted in her brain as it was in her peers their entire lives.
Must never ever happen again.
No.
Sirens, shrapnel and shelters. And my theory is it was this experience which nudged her towards a life of service towards others, beginning within the whirlwind of becoming a mother. Courting at Sweet 16, in the era of the post-war teen, they had been school friends, and his name was Ken. By 18 in early 1953, they tied the knot at the local registry, and 2 quickly became 3. With the September arrival of their very first baby, Judith, swiftly followed, for it was in quick succession, by Susan in the 11th month of the very next year. And before Susie had turned 5, Janice was here, arriving February 1959. Brenda, a young wife, was just 25 at the time, with 3 beautiful babies.
I think that when you get married, you make an agreement to have a good time first and save up at the same time. And then the time comes to have children. And then when you have the children, you know that you should stay in and look after them yourself. I don't think that my children, I'd like my children to be brought up by anybody else.
The point is, money's not everything. The things you really want in life is a good home with a good wife. You don't really need money all the time. If you've got love, and say you've got no money, well, you've always got that love to look by.
Yeah, well, you're getting married the first few weeks for love, but you keep talking about it from the point of love, but love only lasts a few months. I know you're saying, oh, if you find the right bloke, it lasts forever, but it just don't last forever, and you've got to have enough money to go around.
You can't say that, you've not had the experience.
Well, no,
you don't know everybody in this world. Lots of people say that for ages. You can't talk like that.
Her pride and joy. 3 beautiful girls, and later, 1 beautiful boy.
And then you...
And then, of course, I married again.
Then you married
Cobham.
Grandad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she poured tea and administered love quite naturally, with laughter and a gentle squeeze of the hands of the many, many souls Brenda could innately understand.
My aim was to be a midwife.
Oh.
It never happened.
No. But you did similar things because you took care of a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
all through the years.
Oh, yeah.
Different
elderly people.
Because she could see people, and consistently, come sunshine or rain, she aimed to relieve the pain beyond masquerade. And she was fully qualified to administer traditional first aid.
First aid.
All that, yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
On both parts she was trained.
Do you remember where you learned?
Well, for sure, was the first aid centre, yeah.
Ah.
Where we all learnt our first aid, how to do mouth to mouth and, everything,
Yeah.
Your instincts tell you that a lady there fell over out of her chair. Said, Brenda, leave her alone. No, she must be in this position,
What, like put her in the recovery? Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that a few times too.
Yeah.
Don was kind and made her laugh, recorded baby Kevin's very first bath in the kitchen sink on cine film. In August 1964, Judy, Sue and Jenny had a brand new baby brother, and baby Kevin had 3 mini mothers. Like her children, plants, and menagerie of furry or feathery friends, Brenda grew. Into the Brenda many of us knew, each of them true, for she couldn't really do fake, except perhaps with the cakes she pretended to bake. She didn't suffer fools, but protected others and sat on boards for schools, welcomed foster children into her fold. Ingwa and Wei Ming learned to unfurl her own gracious wings and held all of our worlds within. Taught me the true meaning of the word kin. I knew her as Nanny, and she had taken care of millions before me, which explains why we could never fully get down the street before a meet and greet would sweep Nanny into different dimension, where she held hands and hearts and paid close attention. Involved in so many clubs I hasten to mention, lest I overlook any. Nanny did not overlook many, but held space with a certain dignity and grace, and a say what you mean and mean what you say way about her. For me, she saved the day. Without her, I might have got lost in the dark, She knew nobody's starts are a walk in the park, and so she shone like the sun and turned fun into art, quietly playing her part. A family home at the very heart, door open, willing and able to offer retreat and a seat at her table, most likely with your own special cup, which she would most likely often fill up. Picnics, pantos, processions, days out, car boot sales and caravan holidays, that was what Nan was all about. Making memories she could visit where she'd often be found, down memory lane, marvelling on yesteryear's ground, sentimental and proud. She could be quite profound, watching us grandkids running around, finding clues in rhyme, handwritten each year, Easter egg hunts full of sugary cheer, comforts and closeness, year after year. If we had all day, I couldn't possibly cover it all. Suffice to say, I could wax lyrical, for not all heroes wear capes. Some wear Red Cross badges, a quick spritz of Silverkin hairspray, a tabard for when life gets inevitably messy. This is the legacy which brings us all here, hearts and heads heavy. The perceived loss of love, as steady as a drum. A neighbour, a dear friend, a nanny, a mum. Every inch as beautiful as they come. Though she wasn't keen on being photographed, her path would put her in the pages of the Surrey Herald newspaper on many an occasion. Always in acts of service to others, monies raised, events organised, hearts touched. In 2002, she was the glue that held family grounded when Grandad or Uncle Don departed this life for the next.
You always helped other people, and now is the time where you have to let them do some.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to rest and.
Yeah, well, I'm too independent.
But you don't want
I
to.
don't like them doing anything.
No, I know
I'll
you
do it
don't.
myself.
I know.
One day it might come, and please God it doesn't.
This may have been her biggest test.
When I can't look after me.
I know.
Though first she lost her dear old dad, and later her mum. Attending funerals had painfully become part of her weekly calendar. 2020 was a catalyst year for her as it was for us all. She was suddenly a caged bird, and it had catastrophic effects on her mind and soul. Tables would turn into time to learn to receive the care she had given. Not an easy feat for an independent soul, driven to define her own kind of peace.
Well, I was a rebel, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
One Christmas at Kingsley, and peacefully she departed. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't broken-hearted. How I have dreaded this day, how there is no way to say goodbye. But to look to the sky, hearts open and head held high, beneath blessed days and sacred nights, and bright lights to express. We never really say goodbye, just good night, Nanny, God bless.
2 pounds of sugar, half a pound each week for everyone, half a pound of tea, 2 ounces each.
Life-threatening for people of all ages everywhere in the UK.
Half a pound of butter, half a pound of lard.
I urge you, at this moment of national emergency, to stay at home, protect our NHS, and save lives.
And a pound of margarine. That is, 2 pounds of fats.
Wash your hands with soap and hot water for the length of time it takes to sing Happy Birthday twice.
3 ounces of cheese for each person, for cheese is an excellent meat substitute, a box of dried eggs from the United States, and finally,
avoid pubs, clubs,
a full pound of bacon.
many more families are going to lose loved ones before their time.
Stay home. Anyone can get it, and anyone can spread it. Stay home. Protect the NHS frontline staff working to save lives.
Must never ever happen again.
No. There you are.
No?
That's you.
Oh, Barton, dear.
Yeah.
The black hair.
When Tomorrow Starts Without Me, a poem that Nan requested to be read today. When tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not there to see, if the sun should rise and find your eyes are filled with tears for me, I wish so much you wouldn't cry the way you did today, while thinking of the many things we didn't get to say. I know how much you loved me, as much as I loved you, and each time you think of me, I know you'll miss me too. But when tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by the hand. When tomorrow starts without me, don't think we're far apart, for every time you think of me, I'm right there in your heart.
You had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Popular. You've been a popular lady.
A lot of them have been Christian and Mary Ann, all them, yeah.
Yeah. We always had a house full, didn't we? There was always a lot of people and parties.
There was a lot of people here.
Celebrations. Yeah.
Well, a long time ago now.
I know, Nan, I know. It goes quite fast. Quite fast, all these memories, you know. Yeah.
And I see Kev every Sunday.
Yeah, that's nice.
Every Sunday comes and takes me shopping or whatever, or back to Albert for lunch.
That's nice.
Reminisce about when we were kids, you know.
You know, we keep these stories alive, we share the stories, we're still sharing the spirit, you know. So
sometimes Kev will take me down, you know, down Scraps Lane.
Yeah, heart of
on the big green out the front was a black cherry pear.
Every year.
And every year that's full of market stalls.
Yeah, love that. We loved that, didn't we? And the garden was like my favourite place ever. Like, where's my favourite home? all the houses, you know.
So you can always come here and stay, you know that?
Yeah.
Judy and Dale do my shopping. And
right.
Sue. Yeah, they alternate. Judy comes one week, Judy and Dale one week, and Sue the other.
Big family picture there.
Yeah. Christian Marianne.
Yeah. Christian.
Oh God, they're all there.
Yeah.
Yes, where's Sue then? Because there's Ian, there's Sue, blue.
There she is, yeah.
There's Judy, Dale, Marky, yeah.
And Angela.
Good God, yeah. That was out the garden.
This was Black Cherry Fair Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Black Cherry Fair.
Well, I'm blowed.